Everybody, welcome to the Texas Rangers Minor League Roundup, episode 2. This is the second episode. You know what we're doing here. We're going through the minor leagues. We're going to have two guests. One of them's going to be from the lower level, and one of them's from the upper level, or either way, for the front office or whatever. We got two great guests coming on today. Jordan Tiegs, he is the minor league pitching coordinator for the Texas Rangers, travels all up and down the minor leagues, and he is in charge of all of that. Also, we're going to have from Down East Wood Ducks, a guy that's really just come on this year. His name's Alejandro Rosario. He's a pitcher out of the University of Miami. And go look at some of those numbers. We'll talk about him later. He's been fantastic. But first, let's do the upper levels before we bring Jordan in here.
Yeah.
The the Round Rock Express, where we will be, whether you're seeing this today or tomorrow. If it's Friday, we're going to be there tonight. If you get this today, then it's going to be tomorrow. The Round Rock Express are 28-24 overall. They're 5.5 games back. They're 4-6 in their last 10s, and they did 4-6 in their last 10 games, and they have lost one. Jack Leiter did not do so well, and that happens. It's its first bad start.
Oklahoma City was this 1994.
Okay.
All right, I'm giving you.
I've been a long time fan.
Leiter had his first stinker at AAA. You know, he one and a third, I think 1 2/3, 6 runs, 4 walks. It looked a lot like his last major league start, to be honest with you. But that's okay. You know, it's his first bad one. You look at the rest of the AAA ledger, and it looks really clean. And these things are just going to happen. So not too worried about that one. Now, if you look at that game, Cole Winn threw 3 scoreless innings. I'm going to ask Jordan Tiegs about that. I got a question for him on that. But you know, Cole back in the minor leagues, he was optioned last week on the road
because he had options. That's why
he had options. Yeah, and you know, probably some things he needs to work on.
Right.
He came out pitching really, really well, didn't get scored on his first few outings, and then, you know, started giving up some hits. So I'm sure he went down there with some instructions. But you know, it's good to see these guys, Leiter, Davis Wenzel, Cole Winn, they get optioned and they go down and they produce. They don't lick their wounds. They don't feel sorry for themselves. They get right back at it and start producing. And that says a lot about their maturity, their character, their readiness. They're close. They're being professional. And so that's, you know, you can look at a lot of things on a team and point out guys who are doing so well. And, you know, Andrew Knapp, who's a veteran, he's continuing to hit. Sandro Fabian is doing so well. If you look at his numbers over the last year, it you know, he's a guy, and you saw Derek Hill get promoted. So there's got to be some hope there that if you're going to produce, you're going to get called up. And so, you know, last week in Friday on the Farm at Friday on the Farm at rangerstoday.com, $5.99 a month, $60 for the year.
The bottom there.
Kind of wrote about a bunch of guys who could be kind of candidates. You know, Derek, inspired by Derek Hill. You know, and you see the front office open to these opportunities, and so there are a lot of guys down there. But the ones with options always seem to have the advantage. All that said, and I think Leiter, door definitely not shut on him this year. I think Cole Winn is a guy you will see back in the major leagues too. So
and Wenzel, I mean, I've said this about Wenzel. A lot of people, he's not ready, this or that. I said it has nothing to do with that. Wenzel had some good at bats. He just could not get enough at bats at the big league level.
Right.
He just wasn't going to play enough. He was pure. You know, that guy, that young, that much talent, can't sit on the bench for 5 straight days and expect to just come in and go 3 for 3. It's not going to happen.
Right.
He's not Jankowski, who has made a living doing that, who knows how to prepare to be a pinch hitter and play when necessary. Wenzel, that's why he's doing so good. I mean, he looked good at the plate. He just had some bad luck, had a home run while he was up in the big leagues and all of that, but he needs to get every day. And now he is on the 40-man roster. He can come up and down.
That's right. So, good things are happening at the upper levels. And
let's go to
Frisco's
hot.
Yeah, Frisco is rolling.
They're 30-17. They're in first place right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won their last 5. I was out at Frisco. I had a chance and went out there last Saturday night. The wife went out of town. When she told me she was going to a wedding, I said, I'm going to Frisco.
There you go.
And so I went up there and watched Dane Acker, who did a great job. Saw Cody Freeman before the game went up, said hello. He came up, gave me a big hug, said he loved the show and was passing it around to everybody. And then proceeded to go up his first at bat and just he kind of pimped it. not gonna lie, hit a home run, pimped it just a little bit, and then right after him, Abby Ortiz came up, hit another home run.
Okay,
but Frisco's hot.
they are. They swept a doubleheader Wednesday, and they're just playing real. They're playing good baseball. They're playing pretty clean baseball for the most part. They're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, which is fine. They're manufacturing runs. They're stringing hits together. Cody Freeman and Josh Hatcher, the usual suspects. It seems like they've been really, really good this year. Hatcher was the player of the month for April in the Rangers system, and I wouldn't be surprised if Freeman gets that recognition here for May. He's just been really good this month. So is Jason Morabel. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But you going down the line, it's not a team with a lot of power. It's a team with some guys that are still feeling some things out. Good for Kellen Strom, who's having a nice season so far. He's hitting 300. But really, you can look every day at the box score, and it seems like it's somebody different doing something good. And
or it just could be Cordoza, who's the best manager.
Our first guest on our first show, and he the guys love playing for him, but you kind of have maybe a little concern about Abby Ortiz, who's hitting under 200, and Aaron Zavala, who's dropped back a little bit. But it's a long season, guys, and you can say in April with the Rangers, God, well, what's wrong with Corey Seager? Well, nothing's wrong with Corey Seager. So we'll
talk about that tomorrow on the Big League Show from Roundup.
Yeah, we'll add it up and at the end of the year and see where all these guys are at.
Okay, listen, let's get Jordan on here.
Yep.
And then we'll go after that. We'll go back down and talk about the lower levels before we get our Alejandro on.
Sounds good to me.
Jordan Tiegs right after this. Hey guys, and joining us right now from Arizona, it's the minor league pitching coordinator for the Texas Rangers, Jordan Tiegs. Jordan, what's going on, bud?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Has it gotten hot yet? I mean, how hot has it gotten? How about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, every day this week's been over 100, so there's no cold spells in sight.
Well, we've had thunderstorms pretty much every day. We just had one
20 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't remember a time when it's rained like this. So anyway, good thing they have a roof. I mean, that's for a number of reasons, but I love that roof. Hey, yeah, we're just going to have you on and talk minor league pitchers, and then we're trying to cover the whole system here. I don't think we'll go down to the Dominican quite yet, but when we've talked to Jack Leiter, before his first day, his first MLB start, and then after his first one, he talked about last year and how much he worked with you, and I don't want you to get a big head here, Jordan, but what did you guys work on? I mean, when you take a pretty drastic step of taking a great talent like him basically out of competition, what was the plan there, and how is he executing it?
Yeah, first I want to say, I spent a lot of time with him, but there's a lot of people involved in this process. This wasn't just Jack and I thing. Our lab group, Caleb Watkins, had a tremendous hand in a lot of this, providing us with the data we needed every time he either threw in the lab or threw in the stadium, and kind of helped guiding on the things that we needed to try to chase. Starts with CY at the top, who was the one willing to pull the trigger on this, and it's not an easy decision to make from his chair, having to handle the questions that are going to follow from that, and then obviously Ross and all the way down. And John Goble in AA was there a lot with him as well. And so there's a lot of pieces that went into play here. But I think the biggest thing is we all know Jack is uber talented. And now it's a matter of just honing in his consistency. And what we ultimately believed was the delivery component was going to be a big piece of creating overall consistency for him to, one, optimize his pitches, but two, give his pitches a chance to play more consistently. And ultimately, that's the route we pursued with him. And there were some domino effects that occurred that enhanced some other things as he went. And I don't want to be mistaken either. Like, a big component that Jack did on his own with help was the mental side. I think that he's way more process oriented and driven right now. And has a much simpler and clearer approach as to what he's trying to accomplish, not only on the mound, but each day as he goes about things. And, somebody that Jack's very curious, has a very curious mind, and he's willing to seek out and take inputs from a lot of different sources. And I think what he's been doing a much better job of is his filter process and understanding what is going to work for him, and ultimately what are things that he needs to avoid. So that part was massive as well.
Yeah, he had his first rough one last night, I guess, at AAA. But he said that after his debut, it seems like he's able to self-identify some things better, and he said he felt some of the old habits that can pop into what he's working on now. But since spring training, it just seems like he's been different. Listening to him, he's always had polish because he grew up a major leaguer's son, and he's always been in the spotlight. But it seems like he's got more conviction in what he does.
Yeah, no question about that. And I think that was a lot of the process that maybe he didn't know he was pursuing in the immediate time, but now looking back, he learned a lot about himself. And again, what is going to make him tick and what isn't. And people forget, like, this guy had 1 year and I think 1 or 2 starts of college baseball under his belt, coming from New Jersey high school baseball. So yeah, he pitched on Team USA in high school and did some cool things like that. But this isn't your typical college draft. I know he went where he went in the draft, but in terms of actual college pitching experience, some of the things that he had to develop and learn through, sometimes those are figured out before you even get drafted. And ultimately he didn't have that opportunity. But yeah, what you're hearing and seeing now, the way he talks about things is completely different and way more process oriented. Before it was just all about results and forgetting how to accumulate those results from week to week. And I think that's where his mind frame is much better. And I know he hasn't necessarily had the best outings yet in the big leagues, but I still believe strongly that this will be a very good future major league pitcher hopefully for the Rangers for a long time.
Yeah. Another guy who had some lean years the last couple of years, but who made his debut this year is Cole Winn. And, he's now a reliever. Why is the relief thing working for him? And has the door been closed on him starting? He went 3 innings last night.
Yeah, I think some of that was Jack to thank for Cole having to go 3 innings, but no, I wouldn't say the door's ever closed on somebody with that type of arsenal and the pedigree of being a starter in the minor leagues coming through. I think this was an opportunity to help. Again, you talk about self-identify, like Cole getting to believe and understand how good his stuff is and what he's capable of when he does challenge up in the strike zone and allow his pitches to play. And in a shortened down role, he's able to do that a little more fearlessly and not think as much trying to navigate through a lineup. So I think that was part of the reasoning behind it initially. And obviously we saw what he was able to do early part of the season in the minors. He had 1 rough inning that kind of ballooned his numbers, but everything else was generally flawless, carried into the big leagues initially. And I think we kind of saw the opposite, which is weird. As he gets sent down, it's maybe you threw too many strikes, especially with 2 strike counts.
Sure.
Which you told me a year ago we'd be having this problem with Cole Winn. I'd say you're full of it. But, I think it's also a testament that this is why you can't give up on these guys, because you don't know when it's going to click for them and how it's going to click for them and what it might take. And that's why pitching is so special compared to hitting, because you are the controllable. You're not the reactionary component. And Ross and I were talking about this last week. It's like why pitching can come from everywhere and pitching can click at any given moments, whereas hitting, like, it's a lot more cut and dry process at times, you feel like. But Cole's a great example of that. And now he comes down to the minor leagues with having big league experience, and we'll see what that ultimately does for his confidence as well.
Another example, speaking of Ross, we talked about it the other day.
Yeah, we talked to him the other day.
Garavito, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Tremendous find by Ross and the scouting department. Really cool story. I'm sure he filled you in on it, but you get somebody that comes here, and first off, Garrison is like A+ human being, the best you're going to find around. And, he does okay in spring training. Ultimately, he's not even going to make the the roster, and he knows this. We tell him, and like, hey, you cool with staying in Arizona initially to kind of get started to maybe work on a couple things and handles it as good as you possibly could imagine from a pro, and ultimately ends up making the AA roster out of necessity. And very open-minded, shrink down his arsenal a little bit, tweak a little thing here or there, buying a slight delivery change, and damn, next thing you know, here we are a month and a half later, and the big thing, yeah, he's in the big leagues, and deservedly so. Like, he earned that opportunity. Yeah. And the cool thing is that what he was doing at AA that people didn't see initially was he was helping foster guys like Teodo. He was essentially his accountability partner and making our pitching coach's life much better there with him. So it was funny because they were pitching on the same day. So we joked that Garrison's making his big league debut, and he's probably going to be more consumed with what Teodo's doing in Frisco that day.
Well, Teodo did really well. When you go down to AA, you look at Acker and you look at Teodo, guys who I think have a ton of talent, have a chance,
outside chance to get
and their Rule 5 status is going to come into play at some point. It looks like Acker's been A, healthy, but B, just better. And then Teodo looks like he's a little more dialed in on the strike zone. Talk about each of those two. Yeah,
two great. Teodo kind of has shown the progress through the last few years, and he's just continued to pick it up. I think obviously the sinker edition that we did there in Hickory last year, with Jaime as his pitching coach and Sam Niedorf, they did a tremendous job getting that into his hands and letting him run with it. And now I think the next piece for him is now he's becoming more of a true pitcher with all of his pitches. They've emphasized more changeup usage. John Goebel's done a great job in being demanding in his side work and executing and understanding what's going to make him successful and the traps he needs to avoid and trying to chase the overthrow. And, you're going to throw 101 whether you want to or not. You don't need to chase it. But just learning how to become more of a pitcher and he's given us no reason to think to this point that, damn, maybe he could still be a starter as we go through this. So ultimately that'll be up to him and what we need at the next level. And then Acker, battled a lot of injuries, the Tommy John, and then he had a shoulder issue. He had a knee issue last year, cleanup. So he's had some things to work through. But to his credit, he came out to Arizona early this year. He was there in January, devoted himself to revamping his delivery. Our pitching coaches did a great job with that, getting him back aligned. And I think you're seeing the benefits of that, where the fastball is playing big again. I do think there's another potential gear in there. He's constantly working on things and improving, but the fastball's been good. The execution of the off-speed pitches has been much better from last year, and now adding in the last component of a slider. So that's kind of where he's at. But to your point, yes, he's healthy right now. Knock on wood. He's bouncing back, and he's been good to this point.
Good.
Yeah, I was at his last start. He looked really good, and he battled through. He would get behind a little bit, and then he would battle right through it. And then there was an unearned run he gave up in the game. I think he went 5 with one unearned run. His defense let him down a little bit, but he's a great kid. We've had him on. He's just all these kids. I'm telling you, the human beings that are in this organization are amazing. I mean, they're just great kids.
Yeah, it all starts from the selection process. CY's made that very clear, and that not everybody is going to be a Texas Ranger, and this is a true selection. And through the free agency process, through the draft process, our guys have done a tremendous job taking that into account and trying to identify the individuals that one will represent the organization in the right way, but also like who are the guys that us on the PD side will flourish with from just the connection piece. So I don't think that part's by accident. I really don't. And I think that they're continuing to do a great job with that.
I think I just heard you say organization, like a hockey player, like a Canadian, like a Canadian does.
We'll have to get into that.
Hey, fellow, your fellow Canadian, Mitch Bratt. I know he had that great year. Then last year he was a little injured. He got dinged up in the World Baseball Classic. A rough experience for him. How's he doing? Is he on the right path? Is he back on track?
Yeah, no, Mitch is in a good spot right now. His numbers on the surface are probably a tick misleading. Under the hood, the things that we pay a little bit more attention to, he is doing a very good job with. Walk rate's actually down compared to where it's been, even though he doesn't walk anybody to begin with. Strikeouts are there. I think just pushing on the next things. We challenged him with the intent on his pitches, and he's, again, another one who's put a lot of work in the delivery side. The fastball velo has started to creep up from that. I think he was up to 95 the other day, which is something we haven't seen a lot of recently. So very encouraged there. Changeup obviously is going to be a next huge component for him. But yeah, Mitch is on the right track. He's still young, which people forget. I want to say he's still 20 or maybe turning 21 here soon. It just feels like he's been here a while. But you know, he has a lot of growth on the things that don't necessarily relate to the hitter-pitcher confrontation component, the holding runners, the pitch tipping, the how to prepare on a start day, how to manage your emotions between innings. A lot of those things in the maturation process that aren't necessarily seen on the surface are areas that he's been really attacking with his coach there, Julio. And, you know, I think we're going to see the benefits of that stuff continue to play out here over the rest of this year and into next year.
All right, but before we get you out of here, it seems like there's been just some guys who've made some jumps this year. Winston Santos, Ryan Lobus, Alejandro Rosario. I guess you could pick anybody out at Down East. What are you? How do you go about seeing a flaw in a guy? Because like Lobus's numbers and Rosario's numbers weren't great last year in college, and Santos struggled. How do you get them right? I'm sure it's a complex question I've just asked, or there's a complex answer, but sure. It seems like, you know, kind of back to your Cole Winn thing, don't give up on guys. It just seems like the Rangers have done a really good job with a handful of guys this year in the minors so far.
No, I appreciate you saying that. I think the big thing is like getting back to their home base, what makes them good. And I think for a guy like Santos, there was the deception component, added the higher glove side towards the end of last year. And, you know, it kind of changed the way his arm kind of deployed into release. And from there, the slider work, I mean, the amount of slider work he did last year is incredible with the group down there in Hickory. And we're seeing the benefits of it now. And also just the complete change in the way his fastball is playing. The metrics changed drastically. He's carrying it more now. And you're seeing a guy that's carrying himself with the confidence that he should with the arsenal he has. And so I think, one, he's not necessarily working on a development piece as much as he was last year, where it was slider, slider, slider. It was splitter. It was this, it was that. And now he's everything has kind of found its way into place, and now he just gets to go compete and pitch. And I think you're seeing the version of him that we expect to see. And then talking about guys acquired from the draft, like a Rosario or, you know, Isaac Tiger or
that's my guy.
Well, hopefully you get to see him sooner than later. But when we get these guys, Ryan Lobus, for example, like I think the big thing is when you bring them in, you talk to them, you sit them down, and you explain to them, these are the things we really like. This is why we've acquired you. Understand maybe this isn't how you utilized your pitches in college, or maybe what you did or didn't do. But I think just understanding like this is a very simple and direct plan. This is what makes you good. And then from there, we have to find a plan to carry that onto the field. So one, hearing us say it, but two, them going to actually do things this way and see results from it is what ultimately creates the carryover effect, where now it's like, why would I not buy into this? I haven't necessarily done this. It's super simple. It's all built around what I do best, and they're just asking me to maximize that. And then from there, the hitters will tell us what we need to add or change or tweak as you climb through the levels. But until then, like Rosario, when we got him, it's throw your fastball right down the middle, if not slightly up, throw your splitter and slider right off of it. That's it, period. Like, don't do anything else. Let your stuff play. It's really good. And I think from all the things he tried to do in college, it was like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, seriously. Like, this is what you're really good at. You need to dominate this first before you try to tackle 5 other things that aren't going to make or break your career. So I think self-identity, building, understanding their strengths, what they do best, and ultimately maximizing them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and then it goes to scouting, that goes to so many things. You know, fans can just look at the major league team and not realize everything that goes on to get somebody to the major leagues. It's pretty amazing, and you're heading it up. I'm not going to give you all the credit because you won't take it, but you're a busy man, so we appreciate you taking time. I know you've got a phone call to hop onto after in between this one and the previous one, so thank you very much, Jordan.
Quick question: how much do you travel? I mean, you're the minor league coordinator, so I mean, are you going in and out all year, going up to Hickory and down east, and I guess you come into Frisco and AAA, or what? Are you? How often are you out?
Yeah, I'd say there's 4 weeks in a month. Probably 3 of the 4 weeks I'm somewhere. I think that's for a lot of our coordinators in that regard. I spend a lot of my time at the upper levels, bouncing around, and Sam covers a lot of the lower levels in that regard. But yeah, I would say at least probably 3 weeks out of the 4 in a month I'm somewhere.
Well, if you're going to be in Round Rock tomorrow and Saturday, we will be there. We're going down there to do a couple of shows, so we're going to be in Round Rock.
Oh, awesome. Where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Arizona for a couple of days. Brock Porter's out here, as you guys are probably aware, and getting closer to returning. So excited to see that. I got Isaac Tiger throwing. You got Rocker out here. You got Corniel out here. We got a handful of fun stuff going on in Arizona. So I'm spending a little more time here than typical, but my family's here, so definitely not mad about it.
Yeah, that didn't hurt.
Well, darn it, you brought up Brock Porter, and I meant to ask. Ross had explained to me that he's just continuing to work on some mechanical changes that you asked him to make in spring training. Is he about ready to hop back to an affiliate?
Yeah, he's got a few more boxes to check here. It's been a process of just, here's the steps we outlined. As you navigate your way through them and you're able to check these things off, that'll ultimately determine when you're back in competition. It wasn't like it was June 4th, you're back, regardless of where we're at. No, you got to hit these checkpoints along the way, similar to Jack last year, where there was no time frame. It was Jack will determine the time frame when he's ready, and similar to Brock. And I think excitement. Brock will face some hitters this week for the first time. We've seen enough and what we've liked in his side work to warrant an opportunity to face some hitters. And again, similar to, it's the physical stuff, it's the mental stuff, it's all encompassing for a guy that didn't have a ton of experience. And you come out, you're dominant your first year for a lot of it, but you still see some chinks in the armor, and then show up to spring training, something's not quite right, no problem. I think that having a front office where we do, and they see the value of it's not all about just getting these guys in competition and making sure they put up numbers and produce and cover innings. It's the bigger picture of, what do we need to do to get them to be on path to be a major league pitcher for the Texas Rangers, and ultimately making sure that Porter mentally, physically is moving and thinking about things in the right way to set him up so that hopefully, once he's back in competition, that's it. And we're not having to do this again a year from now. Perfect.
Yep. All right. Hey, now you can go.
Yeah, Jordan, we appreciate it. I know it's you guys are busy taking your time to talk to us. We really appreciate it. We'll get you on the big show again also, but this thing's really taking off. We love this, and we may jump you on here a few times.
That's right.
Come on here and talk about other stuff. That's Jordan Tiegs, minor league coordinator for the Texas Rangers. Jordan, we really appreciate you coming on, and we'll catch you down the road.
No, I love it, guys. Thank you very much for having me. I'm a fan of your show, what you guys are doing to
thank you.
Help cover us. I've listened to majority of the podcast as I'm driving or traveling. So keep up the good work. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jordan. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Take care.
All right,
man.
Big thanks to Jordan Teague for joining us. Now let's go down to the lower level before we bring on Alejandro. We're going to go down to the Hickory Crawdads. They're high A. Hickory is 19-28. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They've actually started to build it up a little bit more. They've actually won 2 in a row. Hickory is the one team is below 500.
Yeah, they're kind of stuck here. The offense is just it's not good.
Right.
If you look at the overall numbers, you have a bunch of guys who are better than what they're showing so far. Cam Colley,
Sebastian,
guys who are just below the Mendoza line, and then the one player who's really taken off this month, kind of mentioned him in the first segment, is Jason Morabel, 326 this month. .511 slugging percentage, 5 home runs. He's really really coming off of the shoulder injury last year. He's finding his groove. He's a little bit older. I think he was the class of 2021, the international class of 2021. He was the big signee for the Rangers that year, and he's showing why now. Just this month has been really good, and so good for him, and good for the organization. Ian Muller is showing a little life at the plate, batting .230 this month. I know that's not a lot, but the way he started, it's a significant gain for him.
Right.
So guys who are still young. This is still a young club. Mostly, there are some college age kids, guys from the draft last year who have kind of struggled a little bit, but are starting to figure it out. So, it's just a tough deal for them offensively. Pitching wise, they've been a little bit better this month. Our guy Aiden Curry is starting to come around a little bit. Winston Sanchez remains. We talked about with Jordan remains the guy. Ryan
Jordan
Lobus.
said that, he also said that Brock's kind of getting close to maybe coming back.
Yeah, Brock Porter close to getting back, but Lobus, Santos, Joseph Montalvo has had a really good month too. So some good pitching there. They're not getting a ton of run support, but hey, it's early. We'll see what happens there. But the team that has been really good is down east,
because they started horrible, and now they are up above 500. They're 25-21. They're only 3.5 games out. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Again, that's good. And they did lose last night down east. That's where Alejandro's at, who we're about to talk to. Yeah. His numbers are crazy, and there's a few pitchers down there that are good.
I mean, it's not a few; it's like a lot.
Yeah. Now hitters sometimes in that level, but I mean, this is a guy that throws 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Ross Fenstermaker was just out at both A affiliates, and he's really pleased with the pitching. Alejandro Rosario, a good one. He was a 5th round pick in the 2023 draft from Miami. We'll get into all that in a minute, but he's got a 1.78 ERA. He's thrown 25 innings, and he has 38 strikeouts and only 5 walks. And if you look at his college numbers last year, that 5 walks thing's a big deal. Cole Drake, from the same college as Brett Martin, he was drafted 2 years ago. He's got the exact same numbers: 38 strikeouts, 24 innings, but 5 walks. But I mean, you can go down the line on this down east roster, and Colton Curtis is a guy who's below 2 on the ERA front. Jose Gonzalez, William Bormey's right above it. David, I always mess up his name. David Davalillo, who has a 1.89 ERA and just came off a terrific start. So, they're young. They're not gonna throw a ton of innings by design. They're gonna hit some bumps. It's just gonna happen. But right now, they're just dominating down there, and they're the reason why Down East is surging as a team.
Yeah, and in this league, it's not wins and losses. It's all about ERAs, strikeouts, walks, because a lot of these guys, even if you're a starter, they're piggybacking off each other. They're going 3 innings, so your starter's not going 5 innings right now to get the win. They're all still building up and doing all of that, because it's a long season. It's the first time these guys are going to go 140 games or whatever the minor leaguers do. This is new to them.
Yeah.
Even if they were college players that went to the College World Series, it's nowhere near the amount of games that these guys are playing at low A.
Yeah, and then offensively for that club, Glider Figueiredo continues to have the best OPS. He has the most home runs. He also has the second most strikeouts, so he's not quite ready for a promotion to Hickory. But you have Arturo Disla, Julian Brock, Jesus Lopez, the 2 catchers that are down there that are doing so well. It's a team that has some talent, has some guys that are back there. It's Chedry Vargas has really picked it up after kind of a slow start. His batting average is up to 250. But this month he's hitting 270. So some good things to keep an eye on for potential call-ups to Hickory. But again, it's the end of May. You might start to see some player movement, especially some of these older pitchers. But good things happening down east. And speaking of, one of the better things happening is Alejandro Rosario.
Let's get to him.
Let's go ahead and get him on.
It's coming on right after this. All right, guys, and joining us right now from the Down East Wood Ducks, it's right-handed pitcher Alejandro Rosario out of the University of Miami. Alejandro, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
What do we call you? Alejandro? Is that what you go by?
Yes, sir. Okay, that works.
Hey, thanks for putting up with all these technical difficulties.
Yes, sir. Of course.
We are not technicians. We're just regular old people.
Yeah.
So,
we're probably older than your parents, so that's.
Oh no, that's a good point. Hey, so just when we look at your numbers, and they're fabulous. I mean, we can go down the line. The 1.78 or the 1 something ERA. The thing that stands out to me though are the strikeouts to the walks. You have 38 strikeouts
in 25 innings.
In 25 innings and 5 walks. That's a huge deal. What has changed for you in that regard?
Yeah, I would say just trusting myself. I would say sometimes I get in the habit of giving the hitters maybe too much credit when I don't think they deserve as much credit as I give them sometimes, and just trusting myself, working with the staff here that we have here, the pitching coach, and just the most important thing in this game is being consistent and going out there and be consistent. I try my best to go out there and allow no walks, and if I have one walk, that it'll probably bug me throughout the whole day, because walks usually hurt you in the game. But I feel if I could keep them where they at around 5, I feel like I'll be in a good position as to where I'm at now.
Yeah, you were a 5th round pick. Your arm, you throw it 100 miles an hour. But it seemed like the Rangers might have identified some things from your last season at Miami.
Yes, sir.
And kind of maybe, I don't know, was it a change in approach? What was it, a change in stuff? What did they do? Yeah. What did they tweak?
Stuff changed, stayed the same. I would just say that they really helped me identify what type of pitcher I am and what I see myself in the future in the long run. And I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity that they give me. And every day we're working. Yesterday I threw a bullpen to look for better numbers, better results, and that's something that I'm all for it. I like always getting better, and I came here and they really helped me see, okay, this is the type of pitcher we see you, but the more important part as a player is believing in their plan, believing in the process, and I'm all for in the process. It's showing good results, and so far it's been good. It's been a lot better than I've expected.
All right, so who is Alejandro Rosario as a pitcher? Who do you see yourself as a pitcher? What kind of pitcher are you?
I would say I'm a power pitcher with 3+ pitches.
What are the 3 pitches? What do you throw? I know you throw a fastball. You throw 100 miles an hour. What else you got?
Yes, sir. I throw a splitter. That's probably would be my strikeout pitch. And I mix in a slurve in there as well.
So how much of a drop-off do you get in your splitter? You go from 100 miles an hour, was it 10 miles an hour? What does it do?
It's between 90 to 93, depending on the range on my fastball that day. Recently, my fastball has kicked up a few knots, so the splitter is following it and being a little bit harder, but shape is still the same. It kind of just drops when it's getting closer to the plate, and I try to throw it the same as the fastball, so it looks the same with the same arm action. And so far, I've been getting good results. Yes, sir.
So the split-fingered pitch seems to be a really popular in the Rangers organization. I mean, obviously Nathan Eovaldi and Kirby Yates throw them. Yes, sir. Cole Winn throws one. I think Mark Church throws one. Yes, is it something you've refined since you were drafted, or is it something that you've always had?
I've always had it, but I've never thrown it as much as I do here. And being, like you just mentioned, Eovaldi, watching him throw, he's always been one of my favorite pitchers. I like the way he competes, his competitive mindset, and the way he gets after it. seeing the way he uses his splitter, I kind of try to simulate that same profile to me using it the same as him and try to have the same pitch characteristics. And it's been ever since I got in here, it's gotten a lot better.
You're in your first professional season. Yeah. You've been in Miami your whole life. You were born there, high school there, college there.
Yeah.
You're not far away, but
no,
how are you handling life on your own?
Yeah. Well, I feel well prepared. I was a self-parent, just me and mom back in Miami. She taught me everything I know. She was hard on me, but it helped me be where I am today and knowing how to live with myself. And she taught me things, cooking and having to do my own laundries. That was a pretty big step for me. And being able to just become an adult and just be ready to live life on your own. And like that now, when I go back home, I help her out around the house and doing groceries and cleaning around. Now it's like I was well prepared because she taught me so well.
That's funny. I've got a daughter that's 26. I got a son in college. When they were 15 years old, and my 17-year-old now, they do their own laundry. I made them start learning. You got to learn to do your own laundry.
Yes, sir.
We can't be there to wash your clothes all the time.
Yes, sir.
Your mama did you right. I'm telling you right now.
Yes, sir.
So, you look at this Down East pitching staff. I mean, you're not the only one who's having a lot of success.
No.
I mean, Cole Drake has numbers that are a lot like yours.
Yeah.
William Bormey's having a nice season. Yeah. What's it like? I mean, you guys are all kicking butt. Are you guys making bets with each other? Trying to top each other? What's going on down there?
Well, I would say we're very competitive on our bullpen days. Me and Borby, we used to throw our bullpens together in the same days, and we would make a plan. Okay, let's see who executes the most pitches in the bullpen today, and then let's carry that to the game. So it's kind of like you're competing to have better results as the other person, but at the end of the day, we're still helping each other. Like he'll still come to me and tell me this is what I saw. I'll still come to them and tell them what they saw, depending on who throws first and what the approach they took. We're very communicative. And we're very put together when it comes to like our pitching staff, and we're always rooting for each other, and we're always asking around other guys, hey, like how come you threw this, or how do you do this so well, so I can implement it as well. And it's a very good group of guys.
We when we were going through our technical difficulties, I heard you speaking Spanish. I'm guessing you're bilingual.
Yes,
how much does that help you right now? Because I mean, you have all makes and models. All a bunch of demographics. How much does that help you communicate with everybody?
It helps a lot being able to not just me explain things to other guys, but me able to explain something. If a coach is trying to get a message across to a player that is only speaks Spanish, I help him out in that. Or player to player, a player doesn't speak Spanish, I help him from that. Or a Spanish player trying to tell something to a kid that doesn't understand Spanish, it helps a lot. It makes things easier, and you make sure that the other guy that's getting something explained to understands it from both sides.
All right, you guys have already seen Ryan Lobus get bumped up to Hickory. Do you look that far ahead, or do you just work on what's the saying? You want to be where your feet are.
Yes, sir. You obviously want to look ahead. You want to focus there. That's the motivation to get there, to get to the next step. But the most important thing is focus on where you are now. You try to think ahead, or it's like the saying, you can't run before you walk. You got to walk here, you got to dominate here, and then the organization is going to do their job to, when they feel they're ready for you to move up, you'll move up. But as long as you stay here, you stay mentally focused, you stay consistent, everything for the most part will take care of itself.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we have this show we also have a bigger show where we go longer and keep guests on.
Yeah.
So we don't want to get into the full Alejandro Rosario story right now.
Yes,
But
sir.
we do want to have you back on the big show.
Yes, sir. Of course.
We'll find a time to do that and a better wireless connection and
Yeah.
hopefully not a thunderstorm raging outside our little studio here. But we're so glad that you joined us today, that you fought through the computer deal.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you.
we're really looking forward to seeing what's next for you and this season and looking forward to having you back.
Yeah, we talked about actually, tomorrow we're heading to Round Rock. We're going to do a couple of shows there. We've talked about a road trip up to Hickory and down east, trying to get something in. We'll see if we can. Hopefully we've got to do it. If not, at spring training next year, we're going to definitely come find you when we're out there and give you. But we're going to get you on the big show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Get you on there.
I'll be there. Thank you.
All right. Listen, thanks for working with us today, Alejandro. That's Alejandro Rosario. He's a right-handed pitcher for the Down East Wood Ducks. Remember that name, guys. He's throwing 100 miles an hour. He's got 3 pitches, and he's making his way. He's making his way up. Alejandro, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, you too. All right, a big thanks to Alejandro Rosario.
What a kid!
What a great kid.
Well, he's not a kid, but God, what a nice kid, nice story. Sounds like his mama did an awesome job with him.
Sorry about for y'all. We had a few, mechanical issues there that kept coming up, but we got him good at that finally at that part and got him in there. Hey, listen, we gotta really talk one more time about where we're going to be. We're going to be in Round Rock starting, depending on when you got this. If this is Friday the 31st, we're going to be there tonight. If this is still Thursday and we get it out in time, we're going to be there tomorrow. And June 1st, we're going to be there too on Saturday. Come out and find us, guys. We really want to see you, but we really got to thank the sponsors.
We're going down to Round Rock because they're one of our big sponsors, and
they've invited us.
And they wanted us down there and to talk Rangers baseball, but also we're gonna talk to some players and really have a good time. I mean, I'm planning on drinking some beer.
Absolutely. The wives are going.
The wives are going, so we got DDs. Although my wife can outdrink me, so
yeah.
Anyway, but
you can do it too. So.
But thanks to Round Rock.
Frisco.
Thank you very much to Frisco. Thank you to Premier Properties, the host of our studio, who helps us out on spring training. And we've got a couple other deals that are going to be coming down the pike. Some things coming up in the big show, the segments, special new segments we're going to have that are going to be with partners that we've made. And look, if you want to be a part of this show, this growing show, we keep getting requests to sponsors. We've got room for you.
We'll come meet you at your place.
We'll make room for you. So reach out to me or John, Jeff at rangerstoday.com. I can answer your questions. And also don't forget the website. Nobody covers the minor leagues better than the Rangers Today. $5.99 a month, $60 for the year. And because this is still the infancy of our minor league roundup show, you send me an email, Jeff at rangerstoday.com. I'll sign you up for $48.
That's right. That's it, guys. Thanks a lot. Until next time, until the big show tomorrow night from Round Rock, guys, we will see you at the yard.